Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's have a look at some of the stocks on the move today here in Europe. I'm Caroline Hepker alongside Tom McKenzie, and we're joined by Bloomberg's equities reporter Joe Easton. Hi, Joe. Summer holiday season is in the air. We're thinking about EasyJet results. Also, they're talking about new jets. I mean, there's been a lot of kind of jet purchase news recently. Is the market impressed with EasyJet?
Yes, there's kind of two bits of news on that one, isn't there? So, as you mentioned, those deliveries not helping in terms of some of their jets. So they've struggled to rejuvenate their fleet over at EasyJet of all those Airbus and Boeing planes because of delays at both those companies. So that is kind of an element of their earnings report today. But then the other issue is actually the first half sales weaker than expected at EasyJet. Kind of a little bit of a surprise. I think analysts were expecting this to be much better in terms of the last half of the year. But in the statement, and the CEO speaking to Bloomberg as well today, they do seem to say that their summer bookings have been really strong. And that's kind of what we said, or what we heard from Ryanair as well. So the outlook in terms of where things are going for the rest of the year seems a lot more positive. But at the moment, the stock is down almost 2%.
And Joe, look, I know this is a personal one for you and a pain point after last night's result. Man United's season seems to be going from bad to worse. What about the share impact then?
It is, yeah, no, and it makes it all the more difficult to talk about as Tottenham won, which never is something I like to see. But look, that's where we are. And Manchester United, because Tottenham won the game, beating Man United, that stock. It's quite interesting. Being the nerd that I am, I was actually watching Man United's share price during the game. And when Tottenham scored, you saw the stock move lower.
Phone in one hand, beer in the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Bloomberg app in one hand. I get it. Okay.
The only way to watch a game of football.
That is just sums Joe Easton up, doesn't it? To a T.
Yeah. But the financial impact is that Man United will now not have a slice of the €2.5 billion prize pot that comes with qualification for the Champions League. So that is the total pot that's available. Also, participation in the top competition, the Champions League, would probably benefit ticket sales, commercial agreements, the ability to attract new players. It was really a game-changing all-or-nothing match, given how poorly they performed in the league, finishing, on track to finish 16th in the league, but in that final, which would have given them Champions League football. So financially, it was an absolute game-changer, and therefore we're going to see the stock open lower in the pre-market in around 3 minutes' time, and I expect that to be significantly lower today.
Isn't 16th bottom? Is that right?
So 16 out of 20.
Okay,
they finished in the league, and Tottenham 17th, but they both got to the final. So there's never been a game like that really in the history of the European competitions, because normally teams that get to those finals finish in the top positions in the league.
I've got to ask you, sorry,
was
this on TV or were you in a pub?
No, I was at home. I mean, okay. I had my pre-match nap in order to
be ready for the viewing.
Stay up that late. But
all right, there we go. Fitty chat. But look, let's end on BT forecasting flat earnings this year. What are investors making of their position?
So BT, a bit of a change of pace. BT is reporting a drop down in the number of broadband lines that they've installed via Openreach. So these are the guys that come around and fit all your cables in when you get new internet. They actually reported a drop down in 243,000 broadband lines in the quarter, and that is apparently a sign of increased competition. I seem to only think of Openreach when I think of these companies, but apparently there are other broadband lines available and they are seeing competition, and therefore BT stock is declining 2.5% today, purely driven by that Openreach weakness.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.